Hello, and welcome to Xbox International. And I hope that everybody is doing fantastic today, especially you, chat, since I see you all rambling and talking and having some fun here. So, we have a very special, awesome guest today. So now, let me start doing the introduction real quick of our very awesome special guest. So let's start right here. According to some wiki fan page, Colt Eastwood is a YouTuber and a gaming commentator known primarily for false flagging and blocking people on Twitter. Wait a minute. Stop giving me wrestling scripts. Man, why are you giving me wrestling scripts like that, man? Let me show you all how to do it. Hold on. Let me show you all how to do it. Hold on.
Oh God.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Let's go. Let's start with the formal introduction. Now, introducing from the Sauceverse and XNC Podcast, formerly known as the Nintendo Freako, the man that plays the guitar with both hands behind his back, even better than Eric Captain. Hey, Eric, if you see this, I'm just kidding, buddy, but we love you. The one and only Colt Eastwood, aka Dr. Eastwood Strange. How are you doing, sir? And what have you been playing?
Wow. How do you know the Nintendo Freako thing? I thought that was kind of very obscure. Somebody did their homework.
We try to do our homework.
Wow, that's very impressive. Hit the like button if you're joining the show. These guys really know what they're talking about. Real quick before I talk about what I've been playing, the Nintendo Freako thing is me when I was about 16 years old or 17, maybe I was 16. I was playing a lot of Super Nintendo, and my younger brother said, my friends at school make fun of you and call you Nintendo Freako. And I went through the controller, and I'm like, all right, I'm done with gaming. I'm too old for gaming. And I kind of not really gamed for almost 10 years. But that is the Nintendo Freako reference. But thank you, Louie. And thanks for having me on Xbox International Podcast. I've been playing the heck out of Sniper Elite 5, a game I totally passed off. Everyone's like, but Colt, Sniper Elite 5's coming to Game Pass. And I'm like, but guys, I don't care. And then I play it. I love it. It's fantastic. I'm having so much fun. Such a great game. I think it's one of the best they've ever done. I don't know why. I just love it. I've had so much fun. Wabba!
Man, I played a little bit, and I'm gonna play a co-op this weekend with a friend because we beat the old Sniper Elites as co-op. So we're gonna sit down and start playing it this weekend. I can't wait to play it. And Colt, thank you for joining us on XBI tonight. It's going to be one crazy show, man. Really, it's gonna be really crazy. So now, this is one of my favorite parts. Introducing the man who is the worst driver that has ever existed, which is true. We all have it recorded. And where do we have it recorded? In Twitch, is it? We have it recorded in Twitch.
Yes.
Also known for his kid having more skills than him in Halo Infinite. Seriously, his 7-year-old, is his 7-year-old son? Six-year-old son has better skills than him in Halo Infinite. Our sour grunt, Mr. Sour Blow. How are you doing today, sir? And what have you been playing?
I'm doing great. By the way, the Halo reference is not true. Okay,
What?
but I'll take the driving. I am a bad driver, but I did beat you in a race. So anyway,
Yeah,
I'm doing fine.
You beat me. You beat me. You beat me in the race because you know the racetrack. That's why it was my first time
No,
playing.
no, I did not. Well,
Yeah.
whatever.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, thank you very much, Colt, for coming to our show. It's an honor having you here. And lately, what I've been playing a little bit of Tunic. I haven't been having much time, but I have played, Tunic. I'm trying to explore a lot, especially now that the developer said that there's still a bunch of secrets that haven't been discovered yet. So I'm taking my time. And last Friday we played. I played a little bit of 2K with a friend of mine. But yes, that's what I've been playing. So as of lately.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And now, introducing the man with the million mask. The man who has the sexy voice of Master Chief and Duke Nukem and also Solid Snake. The beautiful, bald man, our Captain Mr. Silent Cypher. How are you doing? And what have you been playing, brother?
Crazy Lou, I need a weapon.
I know you do.
Crazy, I am doing fantastic today. Thank you so much for the nice little intro. I'm doing great. I just got back from some travel. So I haven't gotten to play a lot of games. I've been going into my creature comforts as always. I've been playing a bunch of Slaveless Spire as I've been traveling, since that works really well on Game Pass on the mobile. So I've been playing around with that. I actually did play a little bit of Sniper Elite just before I left town, and yes, I'm 100% with you, Colt. Is like I've played the old games. I enjoyed them. They were all right. But this one is clicking with me, like something fierce. And I'm really excited about that because it looks really good. I think I found my new stealth game to kind of keep me busy and occupied for a while we wait for, Splinter Cell, Metal Gear, whatever happens in the future, right? But that has me excited. But more than that, what really has me excited is the fact that we have Colt Eastwood with us this evening. Thank you, sir, so much for coming to hang out with us. I'm super stoked to have you here. It's been a lot of fun for me, especially over the last couple of years, watching your shows and getting to see you grow. And it's exciting to get to have these conversations with you and actually get to talk to you about the process, see what you've been through. And yeah, I don't know. It just gets me excited to have someone like you on. You're awesome. You've done a lot of stuff in the community. And yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's a weird ride building a channel. You guys know all about it, but it's super fun. It really is.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm very much looking forward to hearing some of the ins and outs, the how the sausage is made in this side of in this side of the process, right? But yeah, so Crazy. What have you been playing?
What have I been playing? But beforehand, though, let me do something real quick and let me introduce myself because, last but not least, the sexy fat version of Henry.
How about I do your intro, Crazy?
Ooh, yes.
How was that?
This would be good.
This will be good. Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Okay.
Oh yes.
I mean, I got to do this right off the top of my head, but here we go.
All right, go.
All right.
And the esteemed co-host of Xbox International, the Crazy. The camera loves him. He's always there. Big smile, big laughs, big cringe. He's got all the jokes. He never stops. It is Crazy Louie. Welcome to the show.
Nice.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. That was awesome, man. That was awesome.
That was perfect.
I was actually waiting for a joke or something at the end.
It was gonna be better than mine because I was gonna mention also known to the team as also known for the team of XBI as God Louis because to them I am God.
No, you're Goofy Louis.
Hey, what are we on Goofy Louis? Oh, what have I been playing? Well, last Friday we started playing Right Cyberblood. I was doing a little bit of Evil Dead because I am enjoying it ever since I watched the TV series. I finally understood what the whole game was about because beforehand I was like, why did I have to look for the last pages and why this and this dagger where to come from? I did not know what was happening. But once I watched the whole TV series, I was like, man, now I understand this game, and now I'm enjoying it more. And I played Sniper Elite for a little bit, which again I'm playing it this weekend with a friend. So yeah, that's what I've been doing these past few days. And yeah, you all been seeing putting a lot of videos these days, the Crazy Eight and all that stuff. It's been a fun week. And again, thank you, Colt, for joining us. So take it away, Mr. Silent Cipher.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Sour has turned on the subscribe button sign. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Please stow your food and beverages next to your desk, underneath the seat, or in front of you. Please take your seat, fasten your seatbelt. And also make sure that your seat is set back and you've hit that notification bell. We gently remind you that smoking, drinking, or general sauce-verse talk are allowed on this flight. However, conversations about Crazy Louie paying for shoutouts is strictly prohibited.
What?
If you have any questions about our flight today, please don't hesitate to ask one of our flight panelists. Thank you. Back to you, Crazy.
You know what? I'm seriously gonna write. I'm seriously gonna. No. Okay, I just chill. All right. So now it's time to shout out to the awesome chat. Oh man, we got this chat is rambling a lot today. Oh my god, we gotta go way up. Hold on, real quick. Let's start with Mr. Dark. Hello. How are you doing, sir? Let me go down the list. Hello, Xbox Mick. How are you doing? The Fifth Horseman. Hi. Let's keep on going down. Joe, VRD official, how are you doing, Joe? Keep on going down. It's Mr. Grasso. Hello, Grasso. Happy to see you every single week, man. You are awesome, fantastic. It's Timmy. What's up, Timmy? Happy to see you here, my other Halo brother. Let's keep on going down the list. Going down the list real quick. Big the Click familia, qué bueno verlo usted por aquí. Me da mucha alegría, mi querido hermano. Hey, Jay Vargas, what's up? Hey, Jay Vargas, tell me, are the Celtics winning or are they losing? Because really, we want them to lose so we can pick on Mr. Sour Blow. Look at him with his hat on. So, yeah, let's keep on going. Let's keep on going down the list. Let's go real quick. Jay Vargas. All right, let me see. I say hello to Kid Max. Stuffy, my shovel brother, how are you doing? Happy to see you here. Oh, man, fun speculation. Hello, Mav. Where's your wig? Oh, man, my wig is away. I got to buy a couple more. I know. I got to do more personalities out there. Yeah, I got a full list of things I got to do with wigs. I found a store. Wig. What do you mean you banned the wig? I found a store with like 30 different wigs, and I'm going to buy them all. You'll see soon. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hello, Mr. Wandering Dutch. How are you doing, sir? Let's see. Keep on going down the list. Han Solo. What's up, Han Solo?
Damn, the ham.
The ham. Yeah. Jason Max. Hello, Jason Max. He says, just remember, Xbox is number one. Awesome to hear about that. Let's keep on going. Ham Solo. Did I say hi to everybody? Dron TJ. Hello, brother. Dron TJ. And Cozy Boluga, hello, welcome to the show. Eternal Shaddai, mi hermano Puerto Rico, ¿cómo estás? Hacho nene, me alegra verte aquí. Pues, what's it? Vertum Mogom, is that the name? Did I get it? Vertum? What? Okay, Vertum, how are you doing, brother? Oh, man, happy to see you. And guys, everybody, Jordani Quesada, ¿cómo tú estás? Hey, man. Happy to see you here. And everyone who did not receive my shout out, welcome to Xbox International. And again, it's going to be one crazy, fantastic show. So, yeah, let's start with our first segment. And let me sing it real quick. It is time to get to know our guest.
Oh, my God. No.
Take it away, Silent.
Like nails on chalkboard.
What?
Oh, sweet. Jeez. All right. So, Colt, we're going to get to know you a little bit better. But obviously, we talked about Nintendo Freako earlier. You detailed some of that with us. But let's go over some of the things that we do know besides that. So, you had the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yep.
You were out of gaming for a good 10 years. Now, if I'm correct, correct me if I'm wrong, but you came back into basically the beginning of the Xbox One era, correct?
Xbox 360.
360.
Like midway
Okay.
through. I mean,
That's right.
I would say I was out of gaming because I just didn't follow what was out and I didn't have anything new. I played Halo. I think when Halo 2 came out, I played Halo on my computer, on my compact Presario. I played a couple of racing games. I played Roller Coaster Tycoon, Rainbow Six, like the PC version. Like I played a bunch of stuff. I had a PlayStation 1, my brother's for a little bit, like maybe, I don't know, 6 months. And then he took it back. So I played a little bit of stuff, played Tony Hawk when it came out, that sort of thing. But I didn't really game because I was going to college, and the type of person I am, if I have a computer game at home, I won't get anything done, or a video game. So I kind of shied away from it. So it was very interesting for about 10 years. And in the end of 2007, I bought an Xbox One off of my coworker, or Xbox Original, sorry. Because everyone had a 360 and PS3. And I was like, I'll just get an old Xbox because it'll be cheap. And I got hooked so bad, mostly because of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. But yeah, I was really away from gaming. When people talk about StarCraft, World of Warcraft, I played GoldenEye a little bit at my friend's house, but everyone was like playing all the time. I had several sessions over at a friend's house, and then I'd walk away. So I missed like that little era of gaming pretty much, which is very strange to say.
So with 360, because you mentioned Grand Theft Auto and some of those and stuff, but with 360, what game was it that brought you back in? What was the first game you played?
Well, I had the original Xbox for maybe 6 months. I think it was like Christmas until April, whatever that is. And then I was like, oh, okay, forget it. I got to buy a 360. I'd read about Gears of War. Gears of War was fairly new in 08. It was a couple years old. To me, that was super new. And then, of course, Grand Theft Auto 4 was coming out that spring. So I'm like, I'm really a gamer now. Like I'm reading all this stuff. I was reading stuff in Blender magazine. I was on G4 TV. I was on Game Trailers on their site. I was watching all their content. Angry Video Game Nerd, or Angry Nintendo Nerd, is one of the guys that brought me back into gaming, because I was watching his stuff, making fun of, because I started gaming like a ton when I was young on an Intellivision, and I played on my friend's Atari in the mid 80s a lot. And then my parents got me a Nintendo, and then an Super Nintendo, and we played games like crazy. But then I just stepped away for this one period of my life when I was going to school and starting a family. So I was hooked. So probably the one that brought me back in force was Grand Theft Auto 4. And I 100%ed it, loved it, and I just started buying game after game after game. And not long after that, I was telling you a story behind the scenes before we started the show, because you said I don't know if you tell people where you used to work, but you do?
Oh, totally. Yeah, that's no problem with me.
Hollywood Video was a big deal back in the early 2000s, and I went over to the Game Crazy that I frequented. I liked it more than GameStop. I didn't even go to GameStop really that much. I went to Game Crazy. It was my jam. And I bought Mass Effect used for $15. The disc was pristine. I had already borrowed it from my friend for a couple days, and I knew I wanted it. And like I just finished Grand Theft Auto 4. I tried out Mass Effect. I bought it like so cheap and got like 100 hours out of it. I was it's like ever since then, Xbox Freako for sure.
Sure.
Big time.
No, that's awesome to me that, like we were talking about also, like the fact that you got Mass Effect for such a cheap price, like the amount of hours you could spend in that game, like that was an awesome thing. It's cool to get games like that on a deal, especially if you're not sure what you're getting into, right? And then you find you just have just a treasure of a game like that you sit there and spend hundreds of hours playing.
I went to get it thinking it was going to be $40 to $50 used, and I was ready to buy it, and I saw it with that $14.99 used tag, and I was like, okay, here we go. And
it's impulse buy territory.
Oh, I was just like, it was crazy. They're like, hey, do you want us to buff up that disc for you? And I'm like, oh, you look perfect.
Oh, dude. Oh, the buffing machines.
Man.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, the buffing machines. They'd stick that thing in there like.
God, that brings me back. That brings me back. I could tell you some stories of some things that came in that people wanted us to buff, but that's for a different time.
Yeah.
Concerning.
I actually saw somebody sharing on social media that like I was out of gaming for like all of the Xbox One era and longer and all this stuff. And like I said, I like to say, colloquially that I was kind of out of gaming for 10 years because I mostly just wasn't in the know. I didn't really care. And it was pretty normal for me to sit down and play Roller Coaster Tycoon for like 700 hours.
Damn, I played that a lot. I used to love just to break the roller coaster, just see everybody go. Wee.
I love that. I still think it's one of the greatest games ever. But
but
all of you that are watching this show, the 26 people that are watching and people in the chat, and all of you in this panel, you know what I mean. Like when you're a gaming fan, you know what's coming, you know what's good, you know what's been out, you know what games you want, you know what's being made, you know who's working on what, you know when the next big reveal is. I was nowhere near that back when I was just trying to graduate from college, and then we're having kids and bought our first house. It was a whole total different time. And once I'd settled down and I had 2 kids, we had a house, I had a full-time job, I had a real job out of college. I thought, you know what? You deserve to buy a video game system. And I knew my wife would be like, do you really need that at your age? And what was I?
Yes.
30s?
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm like,
yes.
I'm like, well, I mean, let me give you guys another revelation here. For all of my life, especially since that Nintendo Freako comment, I remember I was playing Street Fighter 2. I'd just sit and play it over and over. And my brother says, dude, my friends at school call you Nintendo Freako. You're like, who plays video games anymore? And I was like really embarrassed. So I spent all of my life, probably until about 5 or 6 years ago, being ashamed to be an adult that loved video games more than books or movies or boating or snowshoeing, which I do different things. Like,
yeah.
But do you guys know what I mean when I say that?
I know what you mean. Definitely.
No, for sure.
Coming from Latino.
Oh Lord!
Country,
if we
like
go
your
to
parents is like gaming is like for kids, and everywhere they have that mentality there.
Not only that mentality, we also got the chancleta on our head every time we don't listen. Oh Lord! We used to get that because this is something. This is a true fact called about chancletas here. When your mom threw the chancleta, which is a slipper. She can throw like if you're like she could be down the hallway. If you were behind the door, right? Literally, the chancleta will turn and hit you in the head. It's always directed to the head. Doesn't matter how.
You seen the movie? You seen the movie Wanted? Wanted with the bullets.
Yep.
It never misses. I had never seen a chancleta miss in my life. Never. It's true. That's a true fact.
Magic powers.
So that was a real struggle for me because I'm really old. And it was probably 5 or 6 years ago when I finally said, you know what? I'm owing up to this. I remember I was in a group where they're like, everyone go around the room and talk about what your favorite thing is or what you're doing. Then everyone's like, I'm reading this book or I'm doing this or I'm making these or I'm doing this. And like when I knew it's my turn, I'm like, oh my gosh. My favorite thing is video games, and I'm just gonna lie and say, I build things out of Q-tips. I didn't know what to say. I really didn't know. Chat, like, am I alone? Like, have you ever? Have you gone through this where you felt like?
Yep.
Because we work. It's not crazy, I guess. We work with people, right? We go to work with people, and if you work with 50 people, 49 of those people don't give a crap about video games, right? Yeah. They think video games is Super Mario Brothers in '86, right? I struggle with that. I really did.
Well, here's my thing about it, right? Is at the end of the day, like when we come home from work, we have a stressful day, anything like that. Mm-hmm. Everyone needs an escape. Right. Yeah. Be it home brewing, be it making stuff like building stuff with wood, doing carpentry. Like doing anything, drawing, whatever it is, making music, whatever the case is, like we all need our escapism, right? And video games, like it provides it in such a nice way and provides it with so many awesome stories, right? Like there are stories that rival books that I've really enjoyed because they go into so much depth, and there's so many things you can do. There's so many interactions you have, and unlike movies, unlike books, you have those interactions, and it changes the experience. It's like going back to those old books that we used to read when we were kids, that choose your own endings, right? Except for it's infinitely more detailed than that. And I think that's a cool thing. And I think, I mean, for you, I don't know if you play a lot with the kids as well, but I have 2 kids as well. My son loves to play Fortnite. So we spend a bunch of time playing Fortnite together. We play Gang Beasts. I've introduced him to a bunch of retro games.
The game is so funny.
Dude, that game, I keep wondering why it took me so long to get to it, because it is a lot of fun. It's, I don't know, but you know what I mean? It's like, it's one of those things where it's like, it was a gateway for me to get away from everyday stressors. And then as time went on, like I was able to get my kids involved in that as well. And it's just, it's something cool. I feel it helps build imagination too, right? Like it's, a lot of people thought it was such a bad thing for so many years, but it's great. Like there's a lot of good things about it.
Yeah, the nerd thing was always really bad for a long time. And then there's this phase where nerds are cool. My kids and I play, I'm wearing my Burgle shirt from Grounded. I stand by that. Grounded is one of the greatest games that's coming out this year that people need to check out. But I've told this story before on shows, but I play in here. My son is in the family room, my daughter's in the other room, and we're on party chat. We play Grounded like crazy, and we yell and we laugh and we talk about it when we're not playing. Like we sit down and say, "Wasn't that great when we did this?" And I really, when you're saying the imagination thing, Cypher, I really feel like I'm in this yard with my kids and we're trying to survive and work together. And I can sit and watch Stranger Things with my kid and it's a really great experience, but it's not the same as when we play a game that's interactive.
Well, and it gets them to think. It gets them to think outside of the box. It gets, I don't know. I feel like there's so much good to be had with those, those occurrences and those experiences, right? Like it's fun to go out, play baseball with them, throw a frisbee around, stuff like that. That's great. But it's also a very linear thing that you're doing, a linear path. If you're playing a game, there's so many things that can happen during that game. Like there's so much to be had, especially like at a young age. It feels like a lot of the kids learn so many cool things from some of it. And they get a lot of good like hand-eye coordination. They get familiarized with tech, which, love it or hate it, in this generation, this era that we live in, if you know tech and you go into the workforce knowing tech the way that kids do nowadays, that's a path forward. That's a major benefit for kids as they get older. Yeah. So I think it's great.
I read the other day that the schools even are making like teams for kids, who play Fortnite. They're making like competitions and stuff. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, it's finally what we've been through and all that stuff. Like Colt was saying, like, oh my God, being called a nerd and all that stuff. I've been through all that stuff, but man, I know how it is nowadays. If you're a video gamer, you become big. You're huge. You're like pretty much a football player almost, or something like that. It's incredible. I mean, how everything has changed. But yeah, we totally understand. We totally understand, Cole, what you went through. I went through that a lot.
My wife gave me
so much crap, right?
All the time, so much crap for gaming. Lord. And I finally got her not too long ago to play It Takes Two. And she loved that game. We went through it.
Yes.
It was a lot of back and forth. Like she's stressing and everything. And now we're actually playing. What's the other game from the same company? The prison game.
Wow. Yes.
A Way Out. A Way Out.
Way Out. Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and she told me yesterday. She's like, "When are we playing that game again? I want to keep going." And I'm like, "Oh, I thought you didn't like games."
But
Yep.
to touch on something real quick before we bounce to the next question. So I will tell you though, Colt, I feel what you're talking about because I was that nerdy kid in school as well. And like when I was in middle school, my parents decided they wanted to send me to a private school because they had 4 kids before me. They decided they wanted to change up the formula and see what happened if they put one in private school. So I came in as an outsider as it was, but I was a massive Command and Conquer fan. And more than just a Command and Conquer fan, I was a nerd because I brought in the instruction manuals from the games, sat there and read, the information about like the different units and stuff like that, the vehicles, all that type of stuff. I remember getting hassled, something fierce for stuff like that. And there was that window, right? It's like that 80s to like the early 2000s or even late 2000s.
Late 2000s.
You were blasted for being a nerd. And now it's like it's the thing. It's the thing to do. Like everyone plays games in some form or fashion now, whether it be on their phone, their consoles, PC, you name it, right? So it's a different world we live in. It's a bummer that we got ridiculed the way we did when we were growing up, but it's good to see that kids aren't being as mean about it now, right?
Yeah.
At least there's some bright side to it, I suppose. But so continuing on, so speaking of some of your interests and such, of which I see lots of musical paraphernalia and such back there, the fact that you were in a band as singing and guitar? Is that correct?
Yeah. Way back in the day, I was in a band when I was 25, and I was lead singer for a classic rock cover band, and all the guys were like 40 some years old. The guitarist, drummer, and bass player and stuff. So I don't know why my feed is freezing, but it'll get it worked out while we're doing the show. But anyway, you can still hear me. Let me know if I cut out. But that I did that back in the day, and then about 5 years ago, I was in a band with some friends. So it's been pretty fun. So I've always been into singing and guitar, piano, that sort of thing. But it's pretty fun.
What's your preferred is guitar your preferred instrument, or what's
it is now? Like I play piano by ear, so I don't like really know how to play the piano other than try to figure out like what popular songs were back in the day. And then now I just play a lot of guitar. So I have them hanging up here. I grab them every day off the wall and play for a little bit when I'm not playing a game. So yeah, it's something I like to do. And I'm actually supposed to do 2 gigs this summer. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I always lose my voice every night.
That's awesome though. That's cool that you've gotten to continue on with it, and it's like, a fun hobby thing that you can do and get to still enjoy, like messing around with and stuff.
It's crazy because like I've always the kind of singing I do a lot of like really high tenor singing. So I did a lot of Journey and Boston songs. And back when I was growing up, no one knew who Journey was. I remember I was out with a group of friends and some girls, and I was like really into Journey during the mid 90s, like really loved Journey. And I was talking about how much I like their music, and they were like, who? And they're like, who's Journey? And I'm like, you don't know this song? They're like, no, I never heard of them. Which was a time when everyone was listening to Pearl Jam and Nirvana. And now everyone knows Journey can name like 9 songs. But yeah, that's kind of what I did. I was in the classic rock thing. So we did like a bunch of Southern rock, but the band I was in a few years ago, we did a lot of mid to late 80s and some early 90s stuff. So I always come home at the end of the night and my voice is completely shredded from singing like the high tenor stuff all night. And then it's super. I'm like, and I was kind of getting really rolling on YouTube when I was finishing up with that band, and I would try to record a video and I'd be like, hey, it's Colt Eastwood.
It sounded like you were trying to tune into your inner Master Chief or something.
Oh yeah, I was always just destroy my voice because I sing like 30 or 40 songs a night, and
Wow,
that's exhausting.
That's
super fun.
Yeah, especially at that level too, that volume. Like trying to do that, you're gonna sound rough for a day or two after. I would imagine. That's I can't even think on that one. It is interesting. I like what you were saying about with the piano, the fact that you could do it off of sound. So instead of like classically trained and going off of the books and stuff, right? You're just going off of sound and kind of matching up.
I wish I'm the same person I am now as I was when I was younger. My mom signed me up for piano lessons, and I think I went like maybe a month, and I couldn't stand it because the teacher would put the sheet music in front of me and tell me to read that cryptic, dots and lines and stuff. And she would go, I know you're just trying to do it by ear. You need to read the music. And I'm like, I don't know what those notes are. She's like, you're supposed to learn them. And I'm like, forget it.
Yeah.
And then I told my mom, I'm like, Mom, I just want to go back and play baseball. I don't want to do piano. And my older brother is a really good musician, so he taught me how to do some chord stuff. And I would sit at home and just kind of figure out how to play them somehow. But I don't know. How does that translate into me playing video games? I'm a terrible, terrible gamer. I'm not I'm not the best gamer, but I try my best. I play by ear, I suppose.
As long as you're having fun, that's all that matters. But
nobody's worse than Sour Blow. No worries. No.
Speaking of Sour, we're actually going to bounce over to Sour real quick. He is going to ask you a few questions. So, Sour, take it away.
Okay, well, speaking about things you like, we're going to go with the 4 C's, which is something we ask our guests. And we're going to start with, what's your favorite cereal? Colt Eastwood.
Cereal?
Yes.
Absolutely. It's definitely Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah.
I'm never going to outgrow that wonderful manna from heaven.
Wasn't that what our last guest said? Yeah,
I think so.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's so amazing. I mean, you got to eat it quick. It gets soggy, but Cinnamon Toast Crunch it's not. I've had cereals when I was a kid that are so sugary. Even as a kid, you're like, what the crap? Cinnamon Toast Crunch is phenomenal.
Yes.
Oh man, nobody likes Reese's or Captain Crunch. That's my favorite.
I like Captain Crunch.
They're good.
Like
they're
Reese's.
just not.
I like
not the color one, but just the normal.
Yeah,
okay, what is your favorite car?
What's my favorite car?
Yes.
Well, right now it's the one I'm driving. I've always liked the Cadillac CT cars, so I got one a couple years ago, and this one is like it's almost like Honda Civic size, but it's still luxury. It's still kind of sporty and not super expensive. So I really like that. That's one of my favorite cars.
Okay, nice. And what would be your favorite cartoon of all time?
Hold on. Now I'm also an illustrator and a cartoonist as well. So my favorite comic is definitely Calvin and Hobbes, and it's where I learned how to do a lot of drawing style from looking at his work so much. My favorite cartoon would probably be Ren and Stimpy. It's the first one that comes to mind. I love that show. Freaking crazy, hilarious, gross, like the precursor for SpongeBob. It's amazing. Ren and Stimpy is my answer.
So good.
Okay, and now the last C would be, what would be your favorite character? It could be from movies, video games, or
this
TV
one's kind of lame, but this character like makes me cry and happy, and it's John Marston from Red Dead Redemption.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He is my age. He's got a heart of gold. He's got charisma. He cares. He's not a bad guy. Like, you can't play John Marston as evil. You could try, but you'll stop. He's amazing. Yeah. And when I hear when I hear the song Dead Man's Gun, which plays at the end of the game when you beat it, it makes me almost cry. And John Wiedoff, who plays John Marston, not John, I'm sorry, Rob Wiedoff. I actually have his, I can't reach it right now. I have his autograph. I really love him.
Nice.
I sent it in and he autographed it and sent it back. I just think that's great. I don't know why I love John Marston so much.
Oh, he's a very dynamic character.
Well, speaking of sending things back, this is a hypothetical question. Let's make believe that, the Earth Historical Preservation Foundation have chosen you to pick 3 games that will go into space in a time capsule.
Oh, good question.
As a mean of introducing other life form to our planet, what would be those 3 games and why?
Well, that is a super good question that you guys thought up, because you really have to dive deep into what makes the game so important to our culture and defines what a video game is. I got to pick a racing game for one of them, because I think it can kind of cover that humans like to go faster than they're supposed to in a video game simulation. So an iconic, this is kind of like a cap, right? I would say Forza Horizon 3, because I think it just captures like the human love affair with cars and going fast and doing everything you do on and off road. So it captures rally, it captures circuit racing and highway driving and collecting cars. Another game that would be super important. Gosh, these all could be Xbox games, because Xbox is. Shoot.
Leisure Suit Larry.
No, crazy.
No.
If they were going to send them out to space, I would want them to be modern games so that they can reflect back on what came before them. So a Doom game would be really good, just to say that humans like to play games in first person and shooting and this visceral action that just happens as you push your way forward. So it could be Doom 2016. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. It could be an older Doom, but I would just say Doom 2016. And then it could have an explanation that the game, has evolved its way up. And then one more. Oh man, you guys must get some great answers. What would be a great story game? Even though I don't like this series, I would say something like picking one of the most popular Final Fantasy games to explain that humans like to play these games where there's a huge story and there's lots of combat and there's a big world and you level up the character and you create them as your own. I think that would be another good pick. Those are my 3 picks.
Okay, nice.
They're good choices.
Definitely good choices.
What about you guys? What are some of your picks? Like, you guys should at least give me one of each. I'd like to hear what you've thought of.
I'll give you one. XCOM.
What about you?
Because that would be such a weird one for them to see, and how we take aliens and other races.
Oh God.
It might not come off very well, but I would love that.
For me, it would definitely be Warcraft 3. That's one of the games I played the most, and I love the story, and I just love the strategy also. So yes,
Warcraft 3.
But you crazy.
Well, Cole already chose Doom, so I would say, GoldenEye. I would deliver GoldenEye.
Okay.
Yeah, I would deliver GoldenEye.
Tell us why GoldenEye. I like the pick, but tell us why.
Oh man, the GoldenEye was the game that just got us all together to go to a house and just chop each other up and use the golden gun. I remember I used to fill the bathroom with proximity mines and every time somebody jumped in there. I used to mess around.
Perfect Dark was better.
Perfect Dark could be better, yeah. But again, I didn't play Perfect Dark as much. But for me, GoldenEye was the game that just brought all the friends together to play. Then came Halo out, and yeah. But GoldenEye was it?
I feel like Crazy Louis, that's a really good pick because let's rewind the time back.
Yeah.
And outside of something big like Super Mario Kart on Super Nintendo or Nintendo 64, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
I think GoldenEye was the game that everyone talked about, and people are like, "Whoa, video games!" And isn't GoldenEye maybe one of the games that made video gaming more mainstream? Possibly.
Yes, possibly.
Yeah.
I would say also the N64 was the console that brought more like friends together to actually couch play. It was great.
I mean, it was because you also had Mario Party. You had the what's the other one?
Mario Kart.
The guys who beat up each other, Smash Brothers.
You also had Let's Get Ready to Rumble.
But that was another fun game too. Yeah. Oof.
Conquer Bad Fur. Oh my god, I love that game.
Conquer.
Dark in the chat says Metal Gear.
Metal
Gear, I would agree with. That would
be
it's a good choice.
As long as it's not Code Veronica, we're good.
I was there when Metal Gear on the NES was a game changer. No game did what Metal Gear did. Other than Legend of Zelda was this open world thing, but I remember even in the mid 80s, or late 80s, I guess it was, we were you sneak around in this game. That was unheard of. Sneaking around in a game was not. Video games are
forward and shoot. Yep.
Yeah.
Those sound effects were awesome. I like that.
Oh, dear Lord.
I do sound effects too. We'll throw that in my portfolio.
I like it.
Keeps growing your portfolio every time. Every section.
Metal Gear was cool. It was. Metal Gear was a lot of fun. So,
Simon, what's next?
Well, so after that, we're actually going to bounce over to Crazy.
Yeah.
Because Crazy has a few questions as well.
Yeah, but
Crazy, take it away.
I got two serious ones, and the last one, but the first one is, where did the name? I mean, this has got me a little bit curious. Where did the name of Colt Eastwood come from?
Ooh, okay, this is a weird one.
Yeah.
But back in the day, I was really into gangster rap when it was really hot. When it was a new thing, I was really into it, and I drove a car called a Colt, and everyone in high school called me Colt. It's so bad that I'm rarely ever called my regular first name. So I'm used to being called Colt. And one of the other things is my friends would call me Snoop because I have a skinny face. They would call me Snoop or Colt. And Snoop Dogg used to call himself Snoop Eastwood. So it became a thing where they're combining those two names. And way back in the day, Colt Eastwood stuck and has never left. It was my first Hotmail account back in the day, and it's been on every username. And way back when I made an Xbox Live profile, I'm like, nobody's gonna have Colt Eastwood, and I've got it locked down. So it's one of those weird names, but it's my friends from high school call me, and they'll call me Colt or Colt Eastwood, and it's been going that way for 77 years.
I always thought because it was about a Colt 45, but I said I gotta ask him that question seriously. I mean, and that's how I got my Crazy Louis name too. Because back in the day, I used to do crazy stuff because I was a big wrestling fan and a big fan of Mick Foley, and I used to jump around, swing, do all kinds of wrestling stuff. But that's all for a whole other day. But so I heard also today that you love that what got you into video gaming was AVGN, right? Am I right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Angry Video Gamer. I'm a big fan of Angry Video Gamer. So I wanted to ask you, what is your favorite episode of the Angry Video Gamer?
Either the Simon's Quest one, which
man,
I love.
It's awesome.
Castlevania Simon's Quest. I love that game,
too.
And he was ripping it apart, and I thought that was so hilarious. The other one, he covers the difficulty of Ninja Gaiden on the NES, and his buddy's dressed up as a ninja and trying to train him. So it's not really about how the game sucks; it's about how he's never finished it and how hard it gets. Those are really great. And way back in 2007, I was watching game trailers, a GT site. YouTube wasn't even really going anywhere back then. So game trailers had all their videos posted in their channel with Gatorade ads or whatever it was. And I would sit and watch them because in 07, I was getting nostalgic about my old Nintendo days. So I started looking up stuff. And one of my first searches was an angry Nintendo nerd video.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this guy's hilarious. He reminds me of one of my best friends. And I started watching his stuff. And then I started clicking on other videos about new games like Time Shift. I'm like, ooh, that looks really cool. Yeah. But I didn't have an Xbox. So I just kind of worked my way into this. This was my next purchase. And I'm so obsessive. Like you don't look at guitars or you don't go look at a car on a website unless you're ready to buy. Because have you ever done this where it just funnels your brain and your emotions into where you're just trying to find the one you want to buy? And I was totally in that mode. And I want to get him on my show. I don't know how to get a hold of him.
Oh,
but
man.
I really need to. I would really love to get him on the show just to say thank you so much for bringing me back into this hobby.
Yeah. I mean, he's hilarious. My favorite episode is the Halloween episode with the kids in the bag. That scene, man. I can replay it in my mind all the time. Really, the Halloween episode is one of my favorites of his show. Hilarious dude. And now for the final question. Since you like superhero costumes, there is something known as the underwear of power in the superhero universe. Colt, also chat, which superhero has the best speedo? For me, it's Captain.
That's a timeout. That's a timeout for crazy.
Right there, yes.
Timeout crazy. We give them these timeouts.
Oh my gosh. He's like, speed gone.
God.
And he might not know until right about now that he's been silenced for a second. But while he's gone, what is your favorite superhero character? We'll ask that. How about that?
Oh, I'm such a jerk. I'm such a jerk. Well, it's an easy answer. I'm not really, I didn't grow up with superheroes being my super thing. But Batman is my favorite. Like I didn't grow up with Spider-Man. Gosh, they didn't have any Spider-Man movies until 2002 or something.
Yeah.
So I didn't watch Super Friends. I didn't watch the Marvel whatever cartoons.
Well,
I didn't read comics growing up. I'm a very different kind of nerd. I didn't watch Star Trek, but I love Star Wars. I love Lord of the Rings. I didn't watch Harry Potter until this year. So I'm very selective and changing as we go. But my favorite is probably Batman because those first couple Batman movies are really great.
That's kind of,
and the games are the best.
Not the Super Nintendo ones though.
Oh, but no, there was a good one on Super Nintendo.
Was a good
Super Nintendo had a Batman game that was really
Batman
good.
Returns. Batman Returns.
That
was a.
Yeah.
It was like Final Fight.
It was Final Fight.
Or
Batman
Shooter
Returns. That was an awesome. That was the best Batman.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one.
Batman's a good one too, right? Because at that time frame, like you said, there just weren't a lot of those type of movies. Like you had Judge Dredd, but no one's factoring that in.
I never saw Judge Dredd back in the day. I didn't know who the character was. I love Stallone, but I'm like, that doesn't look like something I'd enjoy.
No.
I will say though, that new one that they did,
Dredd,
was really
yes, Dredd. Oh my god,
who plays it?
The guy from The Boys.
Carl something. I forget his last name.
The guy from The Boys.
The guy that's in Lord of the Rings.
From The Boys, have you ever seen The Boys?
He's in The Boys, yeah.
The Boys, yeah. Right now his name is.
His last name.
Wait. Carl Urban.
Yeah, yes, Carl Urban. He plays the horse. The Rohan guy from Lord of the Rings: Two Towers. And he has long blonde hair, and he's like, "I would cut off your head, dwarf, if it stood above," or whatever the line is. It's so awesome. Freaking love those movies.
Forgot about that.
Yep.
Carl Urban. Shout out to chat too for getting that quickly.
Yep. Yes. Thank you, chat. Thank you.
He's awesome. And like I said about Star Trek, I love those last two new ones a lot. And Carl Urban plays in the Star Trek movies. Yes. He's Bones or whatever, and he's just so great. He's so good on the screen. But this show isn't about Carl Urban. It's about Crazy Louie.
Oh,
Hey, speaking of Crazy Louie, actually, so we are going to bounce it back over to him. So Colt, since there's been a bunch of news lately, we've adapted and put in some topics into our what we call the Wheel of Crazy. And so what Crazy is going to do, we're going to have him spin the wheel twice. He's going to pick 2 topics from there, and we're going to talk about those as rapid fire news.
All right. Let's get into the rapid fire news real quick. And this is the Wheel of Crazy. Man, we need something like a round of applause every time we announce that. We need that.
You want a round of applause? Hold on.
The wheel is moving so slow. What happened?
There you go.
Did you start already? No, wait.
Oh no, it haven't started yet. Tell me when.
So the first here are the rapid news of the Wheel of Crazy. We should start with: should Colt Eastwood start a band with Jeff Grubb, Miles Dampier, and Dealer Gaming with Crazy Lou as the lead singer? That's one of the rapid news. Another one: Bethesda, Indiana Jones game reportedly not an Xbox exclusive. Another one: Star Wars Jedi Survivor official review teaser trailer. Odin Pro, new portable gaming console. What's this? Says akin to Steam Deck style console. Do you think Xbox needs a portable console? And Jim Ryan's Q&A questions. Should I go through the Q&A questions or?
We'll just go into it if we roll it.
All right. So Sarah Blow, spin that wheel. Spin that wheel. Spin that wheel.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Oh, Lord, where did it land? Colt band?
Excellent.
Colt
For
band.
yeah.
So who's the band? Me?
Yes, so it would be you, Jeff Grubb, Miles Dampier, and Dealer Gaming.
Yes.
So I don't know what Jeff Grubb does musically, but Miles Dampier is like a death metal, heavy metal guitar extraordinaire. Way better guitarist than me. Dealer is a self-taught, I wouldn't even know what you'd call him. He can play the acoustic guitar like crazy. We'll play in the party chat, and he's like, I don't know how he's figuring this stuff out on his own. It's pretty amazing. Totally different. And then I'm like the classic pop rock guy. And then Jeff Grubb, I don't even know what Jeff Grubb does. And then we need Crazy Louie as a singer.
Yes,
I think we need to sign that contract.
Yes.
Sounds like a good idea.
I was thinking maybe you could be a heavy metal band, and your very first song could be Dealer. Dealer. All right. All right, let's spin that bad boy again.
Yeah, let's spin that wheel.
That was a horrible song.
Spin that wheel.
My bad.
Here we go.
Go for it. Okay.
Jim Ryan.
Jim Ryan, huh?
Oh, Jim and Ryan Q&A questions. So the Q&A question for Jim Ryan was: PlayStation was focused on rather narrow console market. PC, mobile, and GAAS will bring growth. Would that be true? Number 2, to announce live service game launching for this year. Is that true? I don't know. We will see then. Number 3, more acquisitions coming. Yes, we know, because everybody's on the shopping spree, even me. Live service. What did you put? Live Servive. Sorry, what happened there, buddy? Live service games will be completely transformational to PlayStation business. So, yes, that is the quick, rapid news from the Wheel of Crazy. And now it's back to you, Mr. Silent Cypher.
Whew. All right, that was just so rapid. Thank you, Crazy, for thank you for all of your assistance on that. So, so this is the part of the show we are going to bounce over, and we're going to talk about the big topics of the week, right? So, PlayStation State of Play. So the big thing about these topics, it's mainly just going to be kind of our focus and our thoughts on what's coming, right, with these showcases that are coming. So we've got PlayStation State of Play that's going to be coming. We have Summer Game Fest, and we have the Xbox and Bethesda Game Show. So I guess we can jump in wherever, Colt, wherever you feel most comfortable. You can jump in and we can talk about State of Play first, Summer Games Fest, Xbox Bethesda Game Showcase. I want to see which one you want to talk about first, but also what you're hoping to see, what your anticipation is, your pie in the sky options, or whether it be more grounded. What is Colt Eastwood looking forward to, and what does he expect?
For State of Play and Games Fest in the showcase?
Yes, and you can go into as much detail as you want to on them. Obviously, they're different shows, so there's going to be a lot of things going on.
I'm going to skip State of Play because they're not talking about anything super big yet. Right. That will come later. I think they'll probably announce something for July. And then that's when I think we'll find out Ragnarok's coming in September or possibly October.
You know, also the Sega show is coming on the June 3rd. We can talk about that real quick too. We got a Sega show coming up. That'll be interesting to talk too. Coming in June 3rd, is it? Yeah.
So as far as Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest, I expect Xbox to have two things to show at that show. One of them I'm predicting is a combat reveal of Hellblade 2 Senua's Saga. And I put that in my video, so I really think that's another great place to put that on their show. So I don't know what else they could show, because I think Xbox has a couple of big surprises that we don't know about, because they have all these things that they've announced and stuff that's been talked about in the community. So we already know those will make an appearance or they'll show up next year. But I think Xbox has at least two big things to announce, and maybe even one of them that will release this year, even though Starfield didn't make it. That's where I'm sitting right now.
So what would be your bet if you have to bet your money?
Yeah, because
I don't have any money, but I think
one of the ones you mentioned that I want to bring up, and I want to see how likely you think it is, but on your show on Monday, you mentioned possibly Wolfenstein 3.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I was going to get at. It seems very crazy, but it's been 5 years. They helped out Arcane on Youngblood. What if they're ready to show Wolfenstein and they say coming soon, which either means the end of the fall or winter, or maybe early next year? It's not psychotic to think Wolfenstein exists. We've heard about it for a little while, but the team's also working on Indiana Jones. There's like a scale that tips. Either they're ready to talk about Indiana Jones and maybe show something other than a desk, panning over a desk.
Yes.
Or they're not ready to talk about Indiana Jones and Wolfenstein's ready. There does not exist a world where Machine Games is not ready to talk about either of their two games. They have to be ready to talk about one of them. So my crazy prediction is that Wolfenstein is ready to be shown and come in the next year.
Oh, next year, you think? Okay.
In the next year. And that's Xbox's... Well, that's Bethesda's MO, is to show something and release the game a few months later, because they want to show the game when it's completely done and they're just polishing it. But Xbox's MO, normally there's been a few exceptions this past couple of years because they needed to show people, hey, we have games like Fable, right? Yeah. So Xbox, and I've heard this from Xbox leadership, our ideal situation is to show a trailer from launch year 2, year 1 year until the launch of the game, show gameplay. And I think it's smart. For Halo, it didn't work out because they showed gameplay and the game was going to come out that year, but apparently needed a lot of polish. So there's exceptions.
So let's go a little more granular with the Xbox show, and we'll just work our way back to State of Play as we work through. But with the Xbox and Bethesda showcase, in the chat, actually, Mr. Dark mentioned maybe the possibility of a new Quake. What do you think we're going to see a new Quake at this point? I know we ended up getting that remaster of 3 little while ago. Or remaster, I guess re-res basically. But I'm curious, do you think the time is now for a Quake? Because it seems like maybe with that re-release, maybe they're starting to stoke the fires and get the attention on that they would bring back that series. Or is it just maybe to kind of get a feel for how people receive that series at this point in time? What do you think? Do you think time is now, or do you think that one's a ways down the road still?
I think it's a ways down the road.
Yeah. Crazy. What do you think about that one? What do you think with QuakeCon or with Quake? Do you think that'd be something that we'd see anytime soon, or maybe QuakeCon, anything like that?
Because I'm gonna tell you something though. A lot of people are waiting for a new Quake game, and I hope that they are working on it, and I hope that they are bringing it back. Because when was the last Quake game? I don't remember. Was it on 360? Right? It wasn't 360. The last Quake game that came out. If I was
Quake 4, I think, towards the
Quake
very
4.
end of the lifespan, but they ended up doing that remaster a little while ago.
Yeah, but I think it's gonna be along the road, like Colt said, because I think Wolfenstein. Because I remember I read an article, probably I think it was in 2020 or beginning of 2021, something like that, that they were talking about that Wolfenstein was in the mix. So yeah, I think this year we'll probably have a new Wolfenstein game being announced. But yeah, Quake. I don't know. It could be along the road. But if they do announce something, I'll be pretty, with my mouth open, like, whoa, that's incredible, But yeah, it's gonna be along the road. Yeah.
So going over to Sour real quick about that one, just because it kind of popped out there. But Sour, what do you think on Quake? Do you think we're going to see that soon, or you with those guys on it also? You think it's going to be a little ways out?
I mean, you can always tease it because Quake is Quake, but I don't think they will have anything ready to show anytime soon.
Okay. So in that case, I want to touch back on Wolfenstein. Because like you were talking about, Colt, during your show, you were mentioning the fact of Indiana Jones, the possibility of maybe it being, there were people that had mentioned maybe it was time for us to see something again. That would make me really happy. But I selfishly really want Wolfenstein first. Do you go one way or another on that one? Would you prefer Indiana Jones or Wolfenstein for you?
I don't know what makes a game more exciting, being exclusive or being a multi-plat.
No, that is, we can get into that.
I want Indiana Jones first because we've already had the 2 Wolfenstein games, so a newer IP is always better. Yeah. The community is split on whether that's multi-plat or not. There's some interesting, how do you call it? There's some interesting this or that, whether it is a multi-plat. Like Gaz and I were talking about how they would write it in the contract when Bethesda hadn't made an exclusive in a long time, and when they do, they strike the deal early on, I would assume. So you can't really say with any definitive reasoning why the game is exclusive or why it's multi-plat. And Jez Corden of Windows Central said he had heard a year ago the game was slated to be a multi-plat. It was already signed. It was already in the works. And they were going to leave it alone. And then Nick from Xbox Era said he was hearing the opposite, that Phil had gone in and paid and said, let's make this exclusive to the platform. I can believe either one, really.
Yeah.
Until we hear more. And Jez Corden sort of was like, well, that's what I heard a year ago. Things could change. He said that publicly. So those guys have talked to people. I haven't talked to anybody, but it's just really weird. It could be a multi-plat. And we have to think what kind of arguments are going to happen for PlayStation guys that pay $60 for Indiana Jones on their PlayStation 5, and Xbox guys will get it for next to nothing on Game Pass. It's kind of like one of those things you have to deal.
Well, my question is, why would a machine game make it exclusive? Because, if games are exclusive, that makes the games better, right? According to some people.
Right. Well, they stepped up and said Starfield's going to be an exclusive, even though they were planning or already had worked on the PlayStation version, right?
Yeah.
But the only difference is there's an agreement with LucasArts or Lucas Games and Disney. So you have to wonder, like, does that agreement say anything in there that says this game has to release on every platform? Because I don't think it does. Now, this is me saying, I personally think, just my logical thinking, right? That contract does not say Indiana Jones will be created by Bethesda Software through Machine Games. It must release on the PlayStation, and it must release on the Xbox, and it must release on the Nintendo. They won't say that because that's not how an agreement works. When Marvel Avengers was created by Square Enix, did they say it must release on Xbox and PlayStation, Nintendo Switch? It doesn't release on Nintendo Switch. So what was the wording in there? But it could be the other way around, as Gaz pointed out really well on my show, that it can say the opposite, because it just doesn't have to be specific about where it will release or where it won't release. Like, figure that out for me, would you? Because that's really where it comes from. Because Phil and Todd can sit back and go, okay, so we own you now. What happened to this deal with LucasArts, with Lucas Games? And like, oh, we want to make that exclusive. And Todd's like, well, let's go back and make sure we don't have to jump over any legal hurdles. And then they look through it and they're like, there's nothing here that says we can't not put it on PlayStation. Is that crazy? Am I super dumb?
No, I think in a lot of legalese and stuff like that, you know, sometimes there is that gray area. Some things, depending on how detailed Sony was with that information when they worked on it. I mean, you know, it's like when you get into a job and you go in, they give you the employee handbook. Now, some companies are really smart with it. They detail out what's in that employee handbook. They go into detail of bereavement. They go into, you know, everything on a granular scale. However, a lot of people will go with the boilerplate version, just the standard default version. And if they went with something like that, where they said, okay, well, we want it to be this exclusive for this period of time or something, then, you know, if they said that, that'd be great. But if they didn't go into more detail, or if they didn't even specify, I assume they specified a length, right? Like, I figure it's probably like the Knights of the Old Republic game. That's going to be a year. So
that's what I wanted to bring up.
They probably did something like that.
They got KOTOR ready. They got ready to shop it and get it, figure out what platforms it was going to be on. And Sony reached out and said, hey, we want timed exclusivity of that. We're willing to pay you to keep it on the PlayStation for 1 year to bolster up our platform. Yeah. And so now a contract is written up saying the game cannot release on Xbox until 1 year or more when this contract is up, and there's money paid. But remember, Bethesda, when they struck out, when he went to a Star Skywalker Ranch or whatever and pitched this idea or whatever he said in his interview, there was not a discussion about, hey, we're going to make this game and we're probably going to put it exclusively. That never happened. So it's always implied that this game was going to be a multiplat. So maybe it was never even written in there. And obviously Sony didn't come over there and say, hey, we want that exclusivity on that, because we saw it at the game showcase for Xbox. So we know that Sony hasn't paid for timed exclusivity. So there's no exclusivity or timed exclusivity clause or it's a separate agreement that doesn't even exist. So at this point, it may be as simple as Phil saying, hey, this is easy. We want that game to be exclusive to Xbox, and there won't be a PlayStation version, and we'll make up the loss on Game Pass.
Yeah. No, I'd say that's extremely likely, because again, like you mentioned, at that point in time, there wasn't really the talk about exclusivity, anything like that at that point in time. So unless something was added that we didn't know about, I mean, it makes you wonder. Like, I guess either way I could see it, right? Because I think if it were exclusive, maybe you'd hear something from Sony camp panicking or frustrated about the situation, but maybe not.
They did about Starfield, and they haven't said anything about this.
Haven't said anything about Indiana. So,
but I said all that stuff, and that was for reasoning purposes, so we could work it out. I really am sitting here thinking it's probably going to be multiplat. That's where I personally feel right now. And also, like, according to Murphy's Law, whatever bad could happen will probably happen. And Phil can sit back and go, yeah, we'll release it on PlayStation and make a crap ton of money doing it. It's already in the works. Let's just leave it alone.
I mean, ultimately, they have everything to gain in the scenario, right? Because they can say, okay, well, yeah, we'll sell this game on your system. We'll sell it to you for $70 a pop. Or you can jump in, you can get into Game Pass, and then they can bump up their subscriptions. So they either get them on a higher price product, or they could get them into their subscription service. Like, there's good options either way for them. They have nothing to lose in that scenario, I wouldn't think.
But here's something I found because a friend of mine tweeted in a WhatsApp chat. He said that it's from 12th of January 21, right? January 12th, 21. Xbox with the little, what's it called, checkmark thing. That's official. It says Indie Voice. This game belongs on an Xbox. So that's
it could be Photoshop. So
I think they were being cheeky and just referencing Indiana Jones, because that sounds like it belongs in a museum.
Yeah, and it will be on Xbox, whether it's on PlayStation or not.
Yeah.
But let me add this though. I think that if Indiana Jones is gonna be multiplayer, multi-platform. Sorry, I think there's no chance that they show that then in this showcase, because of the fact that they already delayed Starfield and Redfall, and I don't think they would want that controversy right now.
I think they will show it on the showcase, because again, we got a teaser. Was it in last year or was it 2020? I forget.
No, but I'm saying if the game is multi-platform,
but
they would not announce that on this
because
showcase.
because maybe they're quiet. Maybe they're quiet and waiting for the showcase to announce and say only for Xbox. Maybe it could be,
But if it was multi-plat, they'd approach it the same way that Sony does with their stuff, for example, right? Like, if you say, hey, this game's coming out, they're not going to advertise that it's coming to the other systems. They're just going to have the splash screen for Xbox. They're going to announce it there. They're not going to do that service for the other companies. Like, they'll announce it's coming. They'll leave you thinking that it's only coming to Xbox, even though it is coming to other systems potentially.
Didn't they show that Indiana Jones trailer on Twitter when Bethesda was owned by Xbox officially?
Yeah, I think it was at
So if the intention was for that to be an exclusive you can only get on an Xbox and through Xbox Game Pass, like Starfield, they would have shouted it from the rooftops. So I think the plan is to just let this one be multi-plat, which sends a weird message that Xbox is not wanting to give away a big franchise that they're paying for to be an exclusive. They'd rather just let everyone play it and make the most money, because they do have to recoup the costs of the franchise fee or the cost of acquiring a franchise like Indiana Jones. But the other part that's super weird about this is when they entered into an agreement to buy Bethesda and ZeniMax, they sat down and they said, okay, what comes with this car I'm buying? And Todd Howard says, well, you've got air conditioning, you've got anti-lock brakes. We're throwing in a spoiler, right? So he's like, we bought the rights to this Indiana Jones game we're working on, and this is how much the whole package is worth. And they already figured it in. We already paid the extra money to get Indiana Jones. They put that on the bill. This is how much we're worth. So when Phil bought them, or Satya bought Bethesda, they knew they were buying the next Fallout, the next Elder Scrolls, and then whatever contractual obligations that they would paid for. We got the rights to Indiana Jones, and you get that when you buy us. So, hi, crazy. So
Hello.
that's where they should have just said, "Hey, do we want to put this as an exclusive?" I think they really should have. So I seriously sit here, Louis, and I'm like cut between both ways, and I could pull the rope both directions about how this is exclusive or not, and I cannot come to a real answer.
Because here's the thing, though. The question is, I mean, if we listen to Todd Howard, he brought that. I think didn't he talk about it like years ago about doing the Indiana Jones game?
Mm-hmm.
If I could remember, I read about that. That was like, I think it was 2014. They talked about it, and now they just finally agreed upon it to do it, and they started doing it. So what we gotta do is we gotta sit down and see when they agreed to do it. Because if it was before they were bought, then yeah, it could be a multi-plat. But if it was after they were bought and they finally like decided just to strike the deal, like okay, let's do the teaser, then yeah, maybe then and there it could be an Xbox exclusive, because that's where we have to look for it, that spot where when if it was before or after they were bought. Also, here's Mr. Dark with the question here. It says, here is another question. Could Xbox announce the studio they wanted to make to remaster named The Vault, and they show Marcus Phoenix Collection and Fallout Collection? Could they actually announce that, though?
Where is that question?
It's right here in the chat.
Right here.
Yeah.
Name The Vault. That's a cool name. Where'd that come from?
I actually heard about that. Yes.
Yeah.
That would be really good to have a studio that would just remaster games.
Yes.
But I mean, you can farm that out to great studios like Iron Galaxy, and there's other studios that do excellent ports and remasters. But the Fallout remaster would be amazing. I talked about that in my video, and it's like this little quiet little floating whisper that I don't even know if it makes any sense, but I did want to talk about it.
Yeah.
There was also little whispers about In Exile's team doing the next Fallout, and then Todd Howard came out like months later and said, no, we don't want anyone to take the game. We're going to work on it. And they still didn't want to give it to Obsidian back in the day. So, well, that's kind of changing, isn't it? Now they're all working together.
You know what's something that's been giving me goosebumps for the last 2 months, and if that happens, I mean, I don't know what am I gonna do, because that's gonna be like the most exciting announcement. Can you imagine that they actually announce the remake of GoldenEye? Oh my god, if that actually does come true, I don't know what I would do, man. I mean, that would be seriously. Since that is mentioned there, I'm making remasters. Can you imagine they remastered GoldenEye to Xbox Series X? I mean, I would just go crazy just for that game. I mean, that would be the it game for me out of all of them, man. But yeah, what do you think, Sour? Since you heard about that rumor about the Vault.
Well, I was gonna add for the GoldenEye. I was thinking also, we know that they're working with iOS Interactive on supposedly Project Dragon. Yeah. What if they also work a deal for that, 007 game that they're making? That would be big, I think.
Yeah, because
that'd be interesting if they did something like that with them, right? Because IO's already working on Project 007.
Yeah, yes. Because I know. So there's another thing, because I remember in one of Colt's videos he mentioned that Banjo-Kazooie could be a remake. Can you guys imagine a remake of Banjo-Kazooie? Oh my god! I mean, seriously, that would totally break the internet.
I'm starting to think that one might not be true, but I did put it in the video because I know a lot of people are asking about it, and I sort of thought. It's not something I want, so I thought, hey, if I say it, maybe it won't come out, because I think Double Fine should not be working on a remaster of Banjo-Kazooie, and I know that Tim Schafer doesn't even want to work on that.
No,
so
he said it.
We'll see what happens with that. I don't want a Banjo-Kazooie remaster. I want Banjo-Kazooie brand new, fully next generation, all new physics and platforming, because that old platforming doesn't feel good at all. Like it needs to be something like the platforming in Psychonauts is really great. So Double Fine, if they said we're working on the newest next generation Banjo or our version of Banjo, I would be excited. But if they're remastering an old one, it would feel like the old game, just look better.
Yeah. selfishly with them, I keep hoping that someday we'll end up hearing news that they're going to do like a Grim Fandango or a Full Throttle 2. I just keep hoping. Like I know it's very unlikely, but man.
But you think it will be point and click, or do you think
I think they would modernize it to an extent, but I think it'd be a hybrid, right? Like you'd get some point and click stuff, but there'd be more hybridization of just the general like controller layout, the actual menu layout and stuff like that. I think they just make it so it's more approachable. But
did you guys try it though, the Full Throttle? Because I'll tell you something. I played it on the PlayStation and then I played it on the Xbox. And man, for me it felt like back in the day, nice and quick move, like I could move quick, select quick. And I'm a big Full Throttle fan. I mean, I played that game. I could sit down and play it again and beat it in 3 hours because I know everything there is to that game. And the point and click thing is not a bad idea to make a new Full Throttle game. It's actually fun.
Colt, you got a smile on your face when I said that. So I take it, are those ones that you enjoyed back in the day, or?
I've got a different smile. Like some of those older games we loved, but if you play them right now, they feel really goofy. I saw in the chat, General C, shout out to General C. He's awesome. He says Brutal Legend 2.
Totally agree. They need to
yes.
Bring up Brutal Legend
and you know
2.
Jack Black would be like, huh? Right now?
Yeah.
What was
he would
that?
Be stoked. He would jump right on it.
What was that game that Todd McFarlane did that was really awesome? Oh man. But that's a game that should get a sequel. Oh, I forgot. He did it for 360. It was a good game. Oh man,
I know the one you're talking about. It was right around the same time that they were doing that Clive Barker's one that ended up getting canned. What was that one? Was it?
I'll tell you right now.
It wasn't Jericho, right?
Kingdoms of Amalur?
Kingdoms of Amalur, yes.
Yeah.
Kingdoms of Amalur, yes.
Yeah, that came out like everyone's like, is this like Skyrim?
Yeah.
Everybody loves that one. I didn't get to really play it. I didn't give it more than an hour, but everybody loves that one.
That's a good game. It's a good game. It deserves a sequel. It deserves a sequel too.
So I do.
When you were saying,
sorry.
When you were saying Brutal Legend, we were talking about Brutal Legend 2 and Jack Black. He does this song in the middle of Psychonauts 2, and I'm like, you got him right there. You got to hit him up for Brutal Legend 2.
Yeah, I feel like because that relationship obviously is pretty well, nurtured at this point. I'm sure if he reached out and he was like, hey, we want you for another thing, like he would be he'd be to the moon on that, because Jack Black seems very, very willing to come out and play, right? Like he's very much into doing those type of projects, it seems like. And he did do a really good job with Psychonauts. Like even just the what was it, the trailer they did initially that had kind of like the music video vibe to it, and he did the song for it.
Oh yeah.
When they first announced Psychonauts 2 and showed it off, it looked and just sounded so good, and it blends so well. Those guys work great together. So I do want to go back though, because you did touch on Hellblade 2 when I first asked you, kind of what your general thought was on it, and what you might actually see, or what we expect to see and stuff. So you were saying that you expect like an actual, like a segment, right? Like where they'd go through into like a mission or something maybe, and show maybe, what do you think, like a battle or something like that?
Yeah, Melina Jurgen, I think that's her name. Jurgensen?
Yes.
Melina Jurgensen? Am I right?
No, I think it's just
Jurgens.
Yeah.
Jurgens.
She's been training with the lead combat trainer for the Star Wars movies on hand-to-hand sword combat. So we've yet to see what that game will feel like, other than what we saw last year was push forward to run, push A to turn around and throw, or with right trigger or whatever. That's all we saw. So we need to see that combat. And I just think that a good place to do that would be at Jeff Keighley's show again. And not in the Game Awards, at the Game Fest, and right before maybe even what Xbox best strategy would be to show a very short combat trailer for Hellblade and say, like, stay tuned for more, and then they show a little more a couple days later. Or you get this stuff and it cuts at a one spot, and then it picks up or plays what you saw at Summer Games Fest plus the rest at the Summer Game Show or the game showcase for Xbox. That would be cool.
That would be cool, yeah.
That would be a really good opportunity for them also, right? Because if they did it at Jeff Keighley's event, they would get a large audience focused on that game. Because it's one thing if you show it at the Xbox showcase, because you're going to get people interested in Xbox to see that. But if you show it at his showcase, the broad audience that he has is going to draw a lot more attention to that game. So I think that would be a really smart way to do it, right? Is, hey, see more at our show on Sunday. Like that brings a lot of attention to that game. Maybe you get some more cross traffic. Maybe you get some people interested in jumping into the ecosystem that way. We know based on everything we've seen with that game so far, it is visually stunning. And so if it can deliver anything like what we've seen so far, that would be, that'd be the ball right out of the park. I would think.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I wanted to ask Colt, what would be your bet if Xbox had a game for the end of the year? Like to replace.
How much would I bet, or how confident would I be?
Confident.
Not like
I'm 100% confident they have something for the end of the year.
But what game would you bet on?
It's easily going to be Forza Motorsport, but that goes back to my problem I said earlier on the show that they were literally have launched only Halo, Gears, and Forza outside of the other games they put first party were multiplats, Wasteland. I mean, you had Flight Sim and Gears Tactics, but they launched on PC first, and Gears Tactics is just Gears. So if they have Gears Collection and Forza Motorsport and that's it, that would be the huge L. But I just don't think Xbox is sitting in that way. I think they have at least one thing. Like, I know that Phil's probably sitting back going, we've got Forza Motorsport. They don't know that's coming. We do. Well, we're pretty sure, right?
Yeah.
But if he's saying, oh, hey, we got Gears Collection and we got Forza Motorsport, we're good. That's not good.
That's not good. Yeah.
I'm hoping there's something else. And it can't be Plague's Tale Requiem, because that's probably coming in the holiday. That's already been announced. We already know it's coming. It's a multi-plat. It's coming to Game Pass. Like, they have to be thinking, what can we do to launch in 22, because they've been absent in 2022 with big games.
I actually think Plague Tale Requiem, I think is going to be Shadow Drop on the show.
Because
I hear people saying that.
Yeah. Because here's the thing, though. Here's something that I see. Wait, the idea got in my head and now it went away real quick. Oh man!
While you're thinking about that, I want to give a quick shout out to Yodani Kazada, because he just made the comment that made me laugh. I'm sure he saw it up there on one of my shelves, but he said, "Jingle all the way, the game." Is what he's counting.
Yeah, that's what I saw. Like on my idea all the way. I was like, "Oh man, jingle all the way."
Made me so happy when I saw that. So good job, Yodani. Keep it up.
Okay. Back to the Xbox thing. They did get back. I mean, for me, like this event, they got to do something really important, and they have to start announcing dates. Because we've seen a lot of trailers, we've seen a lot of teasers, and they got to start showing us more gameplay and actual dates, even though the game can get delayed. But yeah, we need to see more dates on the games, like when is it going to come out or what's going to happen? Because really, like you said, this year, for example, there's only out of Xbox Studios, there's only been one, and it's on the PlayStation side. Yeah. And PlayStation has only, from their first party, has only brought out two, which is Gran Turismo and Horizon Forbidden West. So yeah, what are they like? Seriously, what is Xbox like gonna give up? Because like you were saying, like a Halo, Gears of War and of Forza, we're actually doing the same thing, 2022 or what happened years before. But yeah, they have to announce dates on this Game Fest. They have to say, okay, 2023, this game's got to come out so we can all get hyped and excited and, all happy and pumped up. Because seriously, man,
This is what I want.
Yeah.
So 11/11/22 was the date set for Starfield. And it was the anniversary of Elder Scroll. What if they can somehow put a vow in that slot? I think that would be a statement. It's a game that it's in the style of Elder Scroll, and Obsidian. They always have that competitive, mindset, and I have heard a long time ago that there were some gameplay. So what if the game is more ready than we think?
Well, just according to Windows Central, saw gameplay almost a year ago. So he said it was too rough to share. So it could be, I think I might have said this sort of in my video, that it's not out of the realm of possibility that Avowed is ready for either at the very end of the year or like comfortably or confidently set for early 2023. But I'm not sure. Like everything's seen like a whole entire year delay, but we'll know, I guess.
Yeah,
and
we'll
showcase how close that is.
I mean, another one too that's been a while and they have been working on this State of Decay 3. I mean, it could be announced too, which is
that one. I don't think so. I think that one is gonna take longer because they just opened that motion caption studio, and they're really ramping up for that game. So
there was also some turbulence at that dev studio. I think it was within the last 6 to 8 months is when that was announced. So I would imagine State of Decay 3 probably is in the oven for a while. And Sour, I hate to be the old grouchy man that's like, hey, get off my lawn.
Come on,
I don't think there's any way we see Avowed yet, because I feel like with the depth that they're trying to aim for that game, I think it's bigger. And I think it's definitely, like Colt said, I wouldn't be surprised if, they saw that year delay as well. Maybe a 2024. I don't
think it's gonna take that long. It's definitely coming 2023.
I don't know. I mean, maybe holiday 2023. I could see maybe, but even then, I think that still goes back to the whole thing of like, okay, if Starfield's actually getting delayed, which it is, that my guess would be is that they'd send that off to the holiday time frame instead.
My thing is also like, there's all these games we know that are coming. Won't that become a problem? Like eventually, like if you have all these games ready at a certain period, like that could be kind of an issue. Like, or unless you just do like Nintendo, where you just store them there and just save them for certain opportunities, and be like,
But here's the thing, though. We already got a bunch of games. I mean, I ask all you guys a question. Have you guys all beaten Elden Ring? I mean, I'm one. I've not beaten Elden Ring yet. That's one I'm beating. I mean, I'm still playing Resident Evil 8 that I gotta beat, and which I'm doing it on Twitch, and that's a whole other game. And still, I have to still play Dying Light 2, and So I'm saying. There's a lot of games like look, Evil Dead came out.
This is a good one from the chat. Jason Mack says, "What if Starfield delay was a big prank and it drops June 12th?"
God,
Can you imagine the L's people would take? All the people that celebrated that delay, like Xbox. It's like
that would make so many people so angry.
You know what, Jason? Like, we laugh about that, but Jason's on to, I mean, it's not true, right? But Jason's on to something. That would be an incredible marketing move. Like, everyone would talk about it. and sales would not be hindered. Sales would probably be boosted by holy crap, they tricked us, the game's ready, and people would rush out and buy it or jump into Game Pass or whatever. As crazy as Jason's comment sounds, it is brilliant.
Yeah,
it's very brilliant.
Yeah, right. I don't think June, however.
No,
I'll say they keep the same date.
But I would love somebody to have, cojones big enough to try that trick, to say, but nobody would ever do that because the backlash your studio gets, to say, we're going to pretend like we're delaying it, and to hear all the hate they get, the names they're called, the death threats, the negativity, and of course stock prices dip when those happen.
Shareholders alone, I think, would stop that from happening, because anyone that ever did that would ruin their credibility moving forward, right? Like,
you wouldn't be able to trust anything they say. But boy, wouldn't it be brilliant moment to say, just kidding, here it is. Then you can never do it.
Psych. Gotcha.
Eternal Shadow in the chat says, I keep rolling my eyes, and I'm looking at the chat. I'm checking my camera, and then I watch I've got my big TV right here. That's how I watch the show. And I got camera right here. I got chat over here. And then I've got you guys right here. So I'm moving on. And the funny thing is, he says I keep rolling my eyes and you guys bring up subjects. I don't think I've rolled my eyes since like the 90s. I just don't think I do. But shout out to Eternal Shadow. We have a good time in these chats. He's a good guy.
Oh, for sure. No, I feel you. My wife gives me trouble all the time. The fact that I've got my camera here, I've got my screen mainly up here, another one here, and my mic here. And she's always like, "You're talking to people, but you're facing this way." And I'm just like, well,
Well, I mounted my camera on the very top middle of my TV. So, I mean, there's a big difference. Not that anybody cares. There's a big difference between looking here and looking here.
Oh, for sure.
It's a big difference.
The angle, the lighting,
so I try to, when I'm doing my show, I try to stay up here when you guys are talking or when someone's talking. Yeah. And then I can't see what. Then I'm missing all the fun. All the fun stuff's over here. This is where the chat is, right here, guys. When my eyes are right here, I'm watching the chat because you guys are awesome.
Well, so I guess unless you guys have more that you want to touch base on with the Microsoft side of things, because we can jump in and we can talk about the others more if we want.
Let me mention one thing though, because this is another game that I'm crossing my fingers for. All my fingers that I hope it is announced that they are actually making the Mandalorian. No, that's another wish, but no, the Mandalorian game. Oh man, if they do announce Mandalorian game, that's another one. I mean, oh my god, that would be awesome. That'd be fantastic.
Definitely. Which dev studio is in existing or a new one?
I heard two different rumors. One was the Cinemax studio, Cinemax Online, and then the other one was the Coalition was making it, which I prefer the Coalition, but I don't think they're making that game, unfortunately.
What do you think, Colt? A Mando game? Or are we going to be cruising the universe as a Mando?
I'm doing what Eternal Shadow says. He says my eyes get really small, and then I roll my eyes. I don't know. I was doing a shot in the dark when I talked about Mandalorian because I had heard somewhere that like a year ago they were working on some type of Star Wars IP with Coalition. Coalition is working on 3 things, according to Aaron Greenberg's post. One of them, I think, is Alpha Point, which is just their Unreal Engine tech demo that they've been sharing with the world. Mm-hmm. The other one is Gear 6, which is in planning stages. And then the third one would be it's something new. Something new. Like, we're pretty sure they're working on something new. And then you start hearing about that they're going to work with Disney or partner with Disney, or they're going to do something with Star Wars. And then the Star Wars thing was debunked. I think somebody from Coalition said, we are not working on a Star Wars game. But we've heard things like that before where they say, we're not doing this. And they're like, hey, you were.
Yeah. I don't know. They're obviously, even if they actually were, they're not going to be like, oh yeah, we're totally doing that. Because that's a whole different problem in its own. But
normally you just said we don't comment on speculations
Yes.
or rumors. So
that's
but they
true. So
outright
maybe-
said we weren't working on a Star Wars game. So
Yeah, so maybe
like,
that's
what are they?
maybe
What
that's-
was the Disney IP they're working on? Lilo and Stitch, or what are we looking at?
Lilo and Stitch.
Lilo and
Oh.
Stitch. Oh, God.
Oh my
Maybe
gosh,
they're
Yodani
making-
Quezada goes Unreal Engine 5 Muppet Babies. When
Muppet
your
Ba-
world looks kind of weird and you wish
Oh,
that
Lord.
you weren't there.
It's not
Just close your eyes and make believe, and you can be anywhere.
That,
Oh,
that would
God.
be
Oh,
amazing.
Lord.
I
Muppet-
love that show.
Oh, Lord.
I was
Muppet
way too
Baby.
old to be watching that, and I'm just like
Right?
watching every minute of it.
Dude, it was good. It
was
pulled
good.
you in. It pulled you in. Sour, do you have any other ones that you want to mention before we jump over?
Yeah.
Bounce back
Oh.
over to Summer Game Fest real quick.
Okay, last thing, Contraband. When do you
Hmm.
think Contraband's coming out? Because that's another one that.
Oh, that could be their 2022 drop. It could be.
I heard some wild things about that game, but let's just keep it.
Well,
at
what have
that.
you heard? Come on, Sour.
share with the team. here.
I heard
Come on.
that game looks kind of like a Grand Theft Auto online thing,
Mhm.
but
I would think so.
it looks supposed to look pretty. Like I heard that when people see the game, they're gonna be very impressed. That's what I was told.
That's a really good way to describe it, because I'll say that Just Cause 4 was not a good looking game. I don't know what happened, but I think on console they pulled a lot of settings down to get that to run at a locked 30 once it was like all patched up. It is one of the ugliest games on console, Just Cause 4 is. And I know
It is.
some people here may like it, and I
Oh,
just didn't
Lord.
love it.
Oh,
Just
Lord.
Cause 3
Yeah.
looks way better, but it had massive drops on the Jag Core Xbox
Yep.
One and PS4.
And
Okay?
it never
Yep.
got an upgrade either.
Nope.
It never
Nope.
did. So we know that Avalanche can make a really cool looking game, because Just Cause 3 looks great, and I played it on PC. It looks great. So just imagine the graphics that Avalanche can do.
Mm-hmm.
Just imagine that instead of in some, fake Venezuela or whatever thing that you're in Just Cause, just imagine you're in, they say this buy-in archipelago, which is like, what they say it was like around Thailand or something, in like that part of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Yeah.
set in the 70s. So you've got these 70s muscle cars, long big boat cars and trucks and stuff. And you've
Cool.
got all the 70s music. And I would assume that the game looks as good as the current GTA 5, at least.
Yeah.
But you don't have newish looking cars. Everything is modeled to look like late 70s vehicles of that era, but they're not all licensed cars. They're fake, right? So
Yeah.
instead of a Roadrunner, you've got another funny named car that looks like a two-door coupe, a coupe muscle car. And you've got the music, and you've got the clothes, and you've got the cigarettes, and no closed circuit cameras, no cell phones, no electronic, transmission other than CBs as the cops come after you. It
Or-
could be a really big.
Didn't they make the Mad Max game too?
Yes, Avalanche.
They could, or the actual pigeon, send a message with the pigeon. They could do that in the game.
Well, that's the. I'm probably maybe they put CBs in your car, because
Yeah.
you'll have to drive separate at some point, because CBs were a thing in the late 70s. So that's like the crutch that video games fall back on. And if you guys have noticed that when you play video games, that the person is always in your ear via a phone or some in-ear transponder. And the funny thing is, the NPC back at home base, they can see everything you can see. Look, what is that? How did that happen? And you're watching like this building come down. Like, how are you seeing this? You're in the headquarters.
Yeah.
They always have this God eye mode, right? But I think the cool thing about Contraband is you just strip it down to the get in, step on the pedal to the metal, get in, jump through the window, get out of there, car chase, sirens, and it just strips it down to its very essential of cops and robbers. Could be really great. And by the way, the archipelago, I don't know how you say that game or that name. I looked it up when I made my video. How do you say it?
Archipelago.
Archipelago.
There you go.
Jason Max says payphones. Like we're gonna stop in the middle of the police station. Down.
All right, payphones.
1-800-collect. Like, hey, what's up?
That'd be great if you could smash.
Vibes.
You could get up on the sidewalk and smash a payphone, so civilians can't call and get the tail on you. So yeah,
that would be pretty good.
Pretty good. Oh,
that could be good, but that wouldn't be impossible for that game to be ready to show and release at the end of the year. I don't know. I mean, Phil was very apologetic about the delay of Starfield and Redfall.
Yeah.
And they have to be able to fix it. So maybe they're sitting back going, we got a couple games. I mean, let's get this out of the way. Give them 1 month to come to an acceptance. We'll show them the showcase.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a couple of surprises for 2022.
Yeah.
We'll be there. I hope so. I really hope that's
I hope that's
I mean, I got my fingers crossed, and I hope that they will announce probably one game or two to come out this year. So yeah, let's cross our fingers, and really I hope they deliver something awesome, because like you said, Forza Motorsport is going to be coming out. Probably it is, and maybe one more. Something else. Yeah, totally agree.
I'm thinking. Granted, this isn't game related. Well, it's game related, but it's not a game coming out. But I think we're going to end up finally hearing about the family plan.
Oh yes.
It seems like there's been some rumblings about that again. So maybe now is the time that we finally get the heads up about that. But the other thing that I would really, really like to see is along the lines of, speaking of Avalanche, Mad Max 2. Because Mad Max 2 is another thing that is supposedly in the works. Now, granted, at this point, who has them?
Who has the IP? Because I don't think
that's the same team that's making Contraband. Is that
Is it
Avalanche
the same one
team?
for that?
I think so.
Yeah,
They made Rage 2. The team that's making. I don't know if you guys did much of the convoy takedown in Rage 2. I loved it.
It was really good.
And it's such a small part of that game. And the car combat in Mad Max is fantastic.
Yeah.
They did some of that convoy stuff in Mad Max too. It was cool to see like Rage kind of expand on that type of stuff, right? Because the convoy stuff in Mad Max was very thin. Like it was very, very thin. But once you got to Rage 2, there was more detail to it, and it was like its own thing. It was good. It was really good.
It was really good. I've put clips of that, and people are like, "What game is that?" I'm like, "Do you guys play these games that were holy smokes?" Like Rage 2 is not to be missed. No, it's a quirky, really cool game.
Yeah,
but Contraband's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be
Contraband's gonna be fantastic. Also, I know that Fable's not gonna be. There's not gonna be nothing on Fable, because it's another game that it's been going on talks. But I know there's not gonna. I think they probably show a teaser or something, but I know that's the game that's not going to come out very soon. And what other game do they have under their hairs? I think that's it. I mean, big games. I don't know, Doom, please, but
not at this point, right? Because they had one of their expansions, or did they have both expansions come out already for that?
I've been through them.
Okay, So in that case, like I doubt we're going to see anything from them for a while, because even if they're treading anything up at this point, it's going to be a while.
Yeah, it's a while.
But okay, well, since we got the Xbox stuff and we can move a little bit forward on it, so we had talked a little bit initially about Summer Games Fest, but is there anything that Colt that you want to? Oh, there we go. Okay, so for Summer Games Fest, they've got the partner lineup, of which it's got everyone who's anyone at this point. So you got 2K, Activision, Atlas, Bandai Namco, Bloober Team, Capcom, Coffee Stain, Deep Silver, the list goes on.
Here, I'll just go through the list for you. That's Xbox related, and we'll go from there.
Sure.
Atlas, I always forget about this, but I maybe they're ready to talk about Ark Survival Evolved 2. That's Atlas,
Yes. Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Is it?
Ooh, is it that isn't
No, I don't think that's Atlas. Though.
Oh, wait.
Is it? Let's see.
No.
Ark
Or is that
Survival
Atlas
2.
that makes
No.
Persona?
That's the one that makes
Atlas
Persona. Yeah.
Persona, yeah. Sorry, and
Okay.
Catherine.
Who makes
They do
who makes
Catherine.
Ark
and
Survival Evolved?
Studio Wildcard
It's a
is their
name like that.
Studio
Wild
Wildcard.
Card for that.
Yep. Is this Ark Evolved game? Yep. Is it?
Of which that's not even on there, so maybe we'll see that at Xbox a little more
Mm-hmm.
because it has been a while.
You know,
We haven't heard Vin Diesel say
Oh, how
anything
weird.
yet.
You know,
I'm thinking of Project Atlas. That's why. I'm sorry about that.
Oh no, you're good.
That's something that team, that the Ark Survival Evolved team was working on. That was like the Sea of Thieves ripoff. That's what I was thinking of. Okay, so this list you've got 2K, Activision. Activision, I would just kind of count out because they're not done yet with Xbox. Atlas, Bandai Namco, no. Bloober, no. Bloober's working on
Silent Hill.
Maybe a
Silent Hill, yeah. Capcom, no.
I
Deep
hope
Silver.
so.
I wonder if Deep Silver is going to show Evil West, which is a really cool looking game. But that's not a exclusive.
But it's coming to Game Pass.
Deep Silver.
No, not that one.
Evil
Deep
West
Silver would have a bunch on Saints
Evil West
Row.
is coming.
Evil West is the third person cowboy zombie slayer. It has kind of like the Devil May Cry type combat. It's not come to Game Pass. I think I reported that a year ago and then I had to correct it. But it's a Deep Silver game.
I'm almost
Also, Deep Silver might be ready to talk about Dead Island 2, believe it or not.
Oh,
They've
man.
been long overdue to talk about that.
God,
Dead Island 2?
If it's time for Dead Island 2, wow.
And I fully expect Dead Island 2 to look horrid, no matter how much polishing.
Yep. I totally agree.
If they didn't scrap it and start from the ground up, I don't see any world in which that thing plays.
They may
like
have. I think they've retooled it 3 times now.
Oh, dear
it's a money pit for sure. I've reported on it quite a few times.
Oh,
it's terrifying, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I mean, the first one was okay, but as soon as Dying Light came, I mean, for me, Dead Island just got buried. It's just not the same. Dying Light is the best one of the first person zombie genre.
Yep.
Dead Island rules. I mean, Dying Light rules. It's way better than Dead Island. Totally killed it for me right there.
So yeah, there's all sorts of fun stuff.
Yeah.
Right here, like Sega, you've got the Square Enix, Skybound, be interesting. Interested to see in what Studio MDHR has. I mean, maybe we'll finally. Well, we got a date for, or a window for the DLC, right? The Cuphead DLC. So at this point, maybe we'll finally get like a locked in date for that one coming out.
Oh.
Maybe that'll be a surprise one where it drops like sometime within the next couple weeks or something, potentially. It's been a while. It'd be interesting to see that. I definitely, like I said earlier, I really like the idea that you were floating previously of like have the Xbox stuff, the Sony stuff, anything that you want to get a broad range of attention to, drop there and then say, hey, come to our other shows to see more.
Yeah.
And get like a major amount of people watching your.
Because here's the thing, though. I saw the PlayStation sign there. Maybe this PlayStation State of Play, they're going to announce a couple things. But I think for the Summer Fest, since it's a big fest, I think right then and there, they're going to announce probably God of War and say day and date of when it's coming out. Can you imagine if they put it 11/11/22? Oh, dear Lord. Oh, Lord. Oh, that would be such a, But yeah, I saw PlayStation there. I also saw Epic Games, which Epic Games is going to talk about. Sarah, bro, can you put that list up again real quick? Because I saw a couple there. I think Epic Games is going to talk about what's it called? The wrestling game? The which looked a lot of fun.
Oh, that I know. I know what you're talking about.
Oh man, that game looks a lot of fun. I can't wait to play that
like
game.
The Battle Royale game.
Yeah, the Battle Royale. Oh, that's gonna be a lot of fun. That's gonna be a lot of fun. Also, I saw Samsung Game Hub and right there Netflix too. What are those guys gonna announce? Wow, that, I mean, that
Nothing for us.
nothing for us. I was like, what?
I mean, maybe with Samsung
Yeah.
Gaming Hub, maybe you hear more about the partnership with
Game
people
Pass.
and their TVs. But
Yeah.
xCloud.
I don't know.
You got WB, which we know they're probably gonna talk about more about the Batman and I'm not the Batman. What's it called? Gotham Knights and what's the other one? Suicide Squad. Studio
Oh,
MD.
Suicide Squad's awesome.
Yeah, Suicide Squad. Yeah, it's gonna be a really awesome game. Who else is there? Frost Giant. What games did Frost Giant do?
Hey, speaking of WB, Colt, what do you think about Gotham Knights and the potential of going into Game Pass with that day and date?
Yeah, we talked about that a lot. That's something Xbox needs to do. Like it's major perfect damage control. Hey, we lost 3 big exclusives, 1 because of the war, 2 because of delays. So we need to grab something, and the only thing available is Gotham Knights. So yeah, grab it. Why not? And I'll bet that WB is feeling a little bit of the burn in the pre-orders realm. Like publishers see this quite a bit. Their game doesn't excite people enough. They have a projection for pre-orders and they see they're falling far below them really early on. It's like when I put out a video and I see the numbers at first, I'm like, oh, wow, people aren't loving this, right? So they know. And if Xbox sweeps in and goes, hey,
Yeah.
look at this
Sweet
money.
deal.
You want to come into
Yeah.
Game Pass? And they're like, man, we wanted 2 million pre-orders. We only got 1 million. And Xbox says, look, here's enough to cover that million you thought you were going to get. And they're like, boom, they sign it. So that's a big possibility. Maybe that's something that if Contraband, Avowed, Hellblade, or Wolfenstein, all those crazy dreams aren't coming in 2022, that they're like sit back going, we're good. We signed Gotham Knight. It's coming into Game Pass. Like that would be
that would be huge.
That would be really huge. And of course, there are people, and some of my friends included, that make fun of how Gotham Knights looks, and I'm pretty excited about it. And I also have I can ride both sides.
Yeah.
But if it came to Game Pass, I'd be like, oh yes, yes, that'll be great. And I know so many people will be playing it, and it'll help that game survive and do really well.
Yeah, totally agree with you there. Oh, and another thing, they probably could announce the new Mortal Kombat, because that was another thing that was, I think, talked about the other day, that was it mentioned that a new Mortal Kombat was being made? So they could probably mention that Mortal Kombat 3rd. What is it? 12 now? I keep losing my numbers.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
heard about that one.
Be 12.
12.
I don't know if with everything that they've got going on right now, if we're actually going to see that just yet. I don't know. I mean, it'd be past time, I think, at this point, if they were going to announce something, because I think last year would have marked where they'd usually have that cadence of bouncing back and forth between Mortal Kombat and Injustice, right?
Yeah.
So I think last year would have been that. So in theory, maybe we see something drop on here. And there was talks that they were going to do another Mortal Kombat first before they did another Injustice. So, I mean, it would make me happy, but I don't know. Like, we're in a different world now than where we were previously. A lot of things have changed. A lot of release windows have fluctuated, right?
Yeah.
So I would love it, but I just don't want to get my hopes too high on that one yet. Although and I'll just drop this and then we can walk away from it. I do think we finally see something from the new Street Fighter.
Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, at Summer Games Fest. Yeah.
That 10-second trailer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Maybe better than the one that.
Maybe a better logo. Are we going to see a better logo, guys?
Yes, maybe better logo.
I hope we get more than what we got previously. Like maybe they'll actually show something this time.
I hope they do change the game, because really I did not like the Street Fighter 5 version. I like more Street Fighter 4.
Really?
That was for me.
Oh well, four was definitely bad. But I
Yeah.
liked it 5. I thought 5 was the problem with 5 was all the problem with the online and all the issues.
Yeah. Yeah, it was okay, but again, the 4 was like a little bit more, more faster, more, but 5 was like, I don't know, I
Okay.
just didn't like it.
Going back real quick to the Xbox
Yeah.
show.
Okay.
Yes.
What if also if they announce that that Battle Royale Halo Infinite game, mode, and also for the co-op campaign, something new like added to it, not just the same campaign, just co-op, but
Mhm.
actually like a new storyline. I think that would definitely make a lot of people happy.
It would. I mean, I'll be
Mhm.
pretty excited about it, but
I'll be
again,
happy.
again, because they've been taking like their time to get things up on Halo. Like
Yeah.
I remember when it happened with what's it called, Sea of Thieves. When Sea of Thieves started, like it took them a year to finally get it
A
working.
year, I'll say more
Yeah,
than it.
well, like a year and something else. Yeah, it was pretty much like Destiny 2. Destiny
That
took
was
a year. When Destiny started, I remember I played Destiny like for a month. But when Taken King came out, that was the game I played the most in Xbox One. I
Yeah,
played 32 days of Destiny.
I'll say
Totally.
this: if when
Yeah.
Halo co-op campaign comes, if it's just the normal campaign, I'll say
Yeah.
that's an L for me.
That's yeah.
I think they need to add something else.
Yeah, they need to bring in why is it's gonna be co-op. They need to bring, like, for example, like in the TV series, it's got a team. They need to bring the team in with them, and that would make you more excited, and move to another place in the world of Halo and not stay in the same place.
Yeah.
What do you
See
think, Cole?
different. What do
Yeah,
you think,
with-
Cole?
Would that
I'd
get
like
you
to see
excited?
that. I don't think I think there will be very little about Halo. I think Halo will have an appearance. And I didn't even put that in my video because I think it's kind of assumed at this point.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But they can't really show co-op campaign. We already can imagine what that's like. But it's too soon to say what's the next single player DLC, like a new biome or whatever, but a new part of the ring. I think they're not going to show that for another year at least. But I would be super excited. And if that battle royale was ready to be shown, I can get excited about that. But that's the only thing I want to see from them. I don't think they're going to show single player content yet. So if you show Halo Infinite Xbox at this event, we've already recorded the event. I just want to see the battle royale, and the rest I know is kind of out of reach.
Yeah.
Not to worry about right now.
And I hope they do it ODST style. Yeah, that'll be pretty fun.
Drop in pods.
Drop in pods. Yep,
Yeah.
that's how I want it. Drop in pods, running around, grabbing weapons, and trying to shoot the heck out of everybody. Oh man, they're pretty awesome. Yep. That'll be pretty fantastic.
Well, you know what? I think that's kind of gonna be where we end up calling it as far as that conversation goes, really. For the main topics. Like Colt said earlier, right? The state of play that's listed at the moment, it's not a bunch of new news. They did touch base on the fact that there's some VR stuff, but it's not anything in the caliber that we're probably going to end up seeing when we're watching these Summer Games Fest, Bethesda Game Show, and Xbox Showcase. I tend to agree with him that, like, if they have something lined up, or even if they didn't, but then they saw those the delays of Redfall and Starfield, that if they didn't have something lined up, they're planning July or August. I would say like that. I would track with that as well, because it seems like it would make the most sense for them to give a little bit of breathing room to everything else that happens here in a couple weeks. And then come out and be like, hey, we're the only ones that are announcing something right now. Come watch our show. And then they could get a lot of attention on it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say also, General said I made a good point. I see Grounded going full 1.0, and I hope so too, because Grounded is a really, really fun game. If nobody had touched upon Grounded, they need to sit down and play it. That's an awesome game.
Yes.
Really
yeah.
fun
So
game
that
to play a co-op.
Actually mentioning that, and Colt, because you mentioned that you really enjoyed Grounded and stuff as well. That one should hit 1.0 probably this year.
Yeah,
I would
they're doing a
imagine.
stream today. I think I missed it today, but they were bringing the game director in, and they have one more expansion, I think, and then the game is done. It's pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, and one last thing though, did you guys see that Sega's? Oh Lord, that Sonic Frontiers! Oh my God, I think that's gonna be awesome. That Sonic Frontiers, like, it's gonna be like the Super Mario Odyssey type thing. That's another
Yeah.
game that has me excited. It looks freaking fantastic. I'm actually happy that it's not like the old Sega Dreamcast version where you had to talk to people in town and stuff like that. This is actually like more Sonic.
There's more depth. Yeah, more.
Yeah, yeah. That looked
Well,
pretty
yeah,
awesome.
I did not see that one, but I will have to catch it because that just hit today, didn't it?
The full one
Yes.
today, yeah. I did not see the full one, but I saw the one. Yes, I think it was on Tuesday, and I was.
Oh,
like,
you gotta
wow.
see the full one.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So I guess that's going to wrap us up on that side of things. Before we start bringing this thing down, bringing this flight down to a landing, Crazy, do you want to give some shout outs?
Ooh, let me do some quick shout outs real quick. I see that Doom Reaper dropped by. Hello, Doom Reaper. How are you, buddy? I said Jason Max earlier, right? Yes, I did. Yes, I did say hi to Jason Max. Okay, let's keep on going. I see Caitlin is there. Hello, Caitlin, my dear friend. Happy to see you here. And who else? Am I missing somebody? Well, if I'm missing somebody, hey, man, seriously, thank you for coming by the show. And then again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, also hit that bell for you guys to know when XBI comes on. Oh, man. Happy to see this chat rolling. It's been fun night tonight. So, Captain, I think it's time to land the plane, isn't it? I could be right. I could be wrong.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at our destination. For your safety and comfort, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captain turns off the live stream. On behalf of Xbox International, we'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip, and we're looking forward to seeing you aboard next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, I leave you with today's co-pilot, Crazy Louie, for the outros.
You know, I gotta get my co-pilot hat. You know, I should
You gotta
buy
get
one.
that. You gotta get some wings at the least. Before you jump into it, though, massive shout out to the chat today.
Yeah.
You guys have been killing it. It's been awesome
Yeah.
to see all the new faces. I appreciate you all. Truly.
Really, yeah. It was
Yes.
awesome. It was awesome to see you guys here. Thank you, chat. And again, thank you, Mr. Colt Eastwood, for joining us on this amazing episode. And I hope we can bring you back again to this show. And I hope we can have another Crazy 8 type of thing battle like we did last week.
Oh, no.
Hopefully he didn't scare you away with the Crazy 8.
Didn't I scare you away?
He was
You know-
close, right?
No, my family literally sat me down today and they were asking. I'm not joking you. My family sat me down and they said, Louis, are you okay? I was like, why? I was like, okay, you're doing all this stuff. I'm like, I'm really worried. I mean, you dressed up like a girl, you put shaving cream on your face, you did the Joker thing, you brought out a knife, and you brought a katana, you did this, you did that. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing okay. What's going on with that? But
This is normal.
it's just me being normal.
Just every day.
And then they're like, I don't think you're normal, man. I mean, I think you gotta, we gotta take you to the psychiatrist. Like, no, why? I mean, this is just a skit we've been doing. They're like, no, they were pretty scared. But yeah, I was having a little bit of fun with it. It was a really fun time. And yeah, and Giordani Quesada says, I am Marlis. No, I am not Marlis. No way. That is not me. No.
Don't say that name.
Don't even
Don't
say that name. man.
Yeah,
Come on.
that's like Voldemort in these woods, okay? Like we
Oh,
try and avoid that.
Okay, sorry. I was just responding
But-
to it because he's been nagging me all night that's me. I was like, no, that's not me.
All
So,
right,
hey,
crazy.
let's bring out our outros and let's start with our awesome special guest, Colt. Again, thank you for being on the show, and I can't wait to have you again on here. But guys, we need to bring Gaz one day on We gotta
Gas and crazy together.
together.
Oh,
Oh man,
It would
you know
be
that would
it would be cool
a
if we could
treat.
do a
You know,
cross, like
yeah.
do a blend of X and C and XBI sometime.
Yes. I really want that to happen. I want to sit down with the gas. So, Cole, tell everybody where we can find you, brother.
You can find me at Colt Eastwood just about everywhere where I hang out. Twitter and YouTube mostly. I don't know what I'm doing next. Just ramping up for this Xbox Showcase event. I got some things in the works. And then I'll be flying out to LA to see the show. So I'm excited. If you're going to the show in LA, please come find me. I want to talk to people. I'm excited.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks for checking out the content. And thanks for being here at the Xbox International Podcast of Dreams. It's been really fun. Thank you.
Oh yeah, thank you again, Cole, for joining us. Really, thank you so much. It's been a really awesome episode, man. And now, for the one who wants the Celtics to win, and yeah, Jay Vargas said every time I say that they if I want them to lose, they always win. So yeah, this time I'll say I want them to win. Sour Blow, tell everybody where they can find you, my dear brother.
You can find me on Twitter, SourBlow18. And you can find me in YouTube in the Gaming Lobby. It's a Spanish-speaking podcast. We cover gaming just like we do here in Xbox International. And, of course, here every Wednesday. And Celtics champion 2022.
Oh, yeah, Celtics champion 2022.
Thank you, Colt, again for coming. Thank you very much for the chat. The chat's been awesome. It's been trouble for me to keep up because I'm kind of like keeping the whole the screens and changing oh my god. I'm also running away from that, but yeah, thank you again for coming.
Chancleta. Oh, hey, you know what, let's do something. If we stay a little while longer, can actually see Mrs. Sauerblue bringing in the chancleta.
She actually knocked the door. She's like,
yeah,
she wants to.
Yeah, if let's bring up an. What do you think? What do you think? Silent Cipher. What kind of subject should we bring up so we can wait for the chancleta so Cole can see that? That'd be pretty fun.
I don't want to see my dear brother get beaten with a shoe. I'm on his side. Keep him safe and in one.
Okay. I'm just messing around. So hey, Silent Cipher, tell everybody where we can find you, brother.
Right. Well, yeah, you can find me on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Xbox, PlayStation, Twitter, all over the place as Silent Cipher. Usually hanging around, checking out all the different shows throughout the community, lurking around in the chats while I'm at work, since I can't really chat very often on my phone. But more importantly, you can catch me on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here with my brothers at XBI on the Crazy Louie Gaming channel. And yeah, I don't have very much at the moment. I know here in a week and a half, we're going to start having our E3 coverage and stuff like that. We're going to be matching up and partnering up with Midweek Mix-Up on some of that stuff. So that'll be cool. More as we get closer. We'll share links as we get closer on that. But most importantly, Colt, thank you so much for coming this evening, dude. Really, I appreciate it. Like I told you earlier off the air, I messaged and I was just like, you know what, I'll just reach out and I'll just see, I'll see what he says. And you got back to me, and I really appreciate it because, as someone that's very early in the game that doesn't have a channel near the size of yours, it's awesome to have someone like you to get your take on these things and just, pick your brain a little bit on some of these things. And real quick, before I pass it back, I was going to say, listening to your podcast on Monday, you mentioned that you've seen a bunch of scam Colt Eastwood channels and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And it got me nervous for a second because I was like, oh no, maybe I wasn't talking to the actual Colt Eastwood all this time.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I was driving home today. I was sweating bullets. I was like, what if I get home and he's
You're
not
worried about it
actually
today?
there?
Yeah.
I was on vacation. for the last week, and as I was coming back and realizations were hitting, I was like, "Oh dear God, did I make a mistake?" So I am very happy that I'm talking to the genuine Colt Eastwood, and I'm very happy that you could join us this evening.
No worries. I still confirmed on Monday when like Sour said that I paid my $25 for the shoutouts.
Me? I haven't said anything.
No, you didn't. No. I know your intentions. But it did confirm though. Cole said, "Yeah, I'm going there next." I was like, "Okay, we got the real Colt coming." So no worries. I did confirm that. So guys, before I go, again, chat, you guys were fantastic. You guys are awesome. Really happy to see y'all here, and everybody that came in new, really happy to see us joining the chat. And again, guys, please subscribe. Please hit that like button and also comment below. Comments are good. We'll get to you. Really, I love when people comment. Really fun. Chat again. Love y'all. Kisses from the crazy one and hugs from me too. Also, one last thing. Colt, thank you again for coming to the show. Really, really appreciated you coming here and joining us tonight. Seriously, it was a lot of fun. And again, I can't wait to have you again on the show next time and have all those crazy videos going out there. Oh man, I had so much fun. But hey, where can you find the crazy one? You can find me at Crazy Louis Gaming Twitter account, where I do a lot of too damn much crazy things. But yes, I do too many crazy things and have a lot of fun. So yes, follow me on Twitter, Crazy Louis Gaming. Also, here every Wednesday with my brother Silent Cypher and Sour Bro in Crazy Louis Gaming YouTube channel, Xbox International at 7 p.m. And last shout out to Sour Bro Gaming on Tuesdays with my brother Sour Bro para la comunidad latina. Hacemos gaming lobby a las 7 de la noche p.m. Así que vengan con nosotros allá en el canal de Sour Bro Gaming. So guys, like I always say, love gaming, stop the hating, and last but not least, remember, let's go, let's rock, and let's get crazy. Yes, see y'all next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the XBI Podcast. Please make sure to like and subscribe on the way out. We'll see you next time.